It's Saturday, April the 2nd, 2022 at 8:31 a.m. here locally in Tacoma, Washington. This is the One Harrieth Project's DiaryCast number 33, entitled The Crazy Ones. From premonitions had in dreams, both while asleep and awake, that came true, to using telepathy to offer invitation to another, to repeat back to me specific words passed along in this space between, to watching as my own butterfly wings fluttering over here ripple influence into the world and change the outcome over there, and to become aware that someone who was part of my Saturn return has fulfilled his karmic role in my life. This week has been one of secrets revealed. The thing is, I also know that those secrets may be mine to know, but are not ones to be shared outside my own awareness. As I received them during what I call a breath-focused meditation on the 29th of March, where the following phrase, one in answer to my question, what next, presented. Every secret is waiting to be called forth. It's only a matter of time. Yours is to know for the value such knowing has in your journey to self. Theirs is to find fulfillment only when self is ready to allow the value of such knowing. The rest is faith. This beautiful gift of knowing that I came out of the meditation with on the 29th reminded me of Hemingway's references to a Moveable Feast. This metaphoric extension was used by Hemingway to reference, let's say, the memory of a splendid place that continues to go with the moving traveler for the rest of their life, after he or she has had the experience of it and gone away. For me, however, it has an extended meaning. As I've continued on this journey of understanding the more of things, this traveling that I've been doing isn't only one where I bring memories with me, but it's one where I'm constantly being revisited with new memories that come from a place of old or a place of timelessness. So to me, a Moveable Feast not only references this splendid place of memory that goes with you no matter where you go in life, it also references this continuous place of splendid memory that you create as you go along. And my memories are now infused with these higher awarenesses that I honestly can't tell you where they come from, but they have enriched my life to a degree that I really don't have any way to express using the limitation of words. But I did come away knowing this. These amazing experiences that I've had in the last week, for the most part, have to remain with me. I don't feel it's my place and would be remiss of handling my human responsibilities to share them with you, although they have been pretty miraculous. But I can share a few. One, for example, references my opening statement where I talk about my butterfly wings fluttering over here, having a rippling effect out into the world and changing an outcome over there. And that outcome is one that I could never have imagined in my wildest dreams. It began with my sending of an email to a friend that I haven't been in contact with for about 5 years. And the purpose in reaching out was I'd come across some information that I felt had direct significance to their own personal journey, where they are trying to figure out how to escape what I'll call this construct. And it referenced terms like home, which is a common phrase we both share because of an experience we had in December of 2016, and a reference to family, and a reference to the stars and things like that. What I did was I provided a couple of links to these videos that had this information contained therein. Videos that specifically I felt referenced both them and their partner based on their astrological signs. My only intent was to offer it to them in case they found value therein, and then just let it go. Then, exactly 3 weeks to the date, I was outside on a walk with the pup that I'm caring for here at this house sit. And while the dog was running in a giant field in a neighborhood park, I was sitting on a bench in close proximity, looking at the notification section on my YouTube channel on my phone. And when you look at it on a phone, you also get community posts as well. If you're looking on your computer, you have to go to the individual channels to look at those community posts. And that's something I never do. However, when I'm looking at my notifications on my phone, of course, they're there. So how can you miss them? Which in this case was synchronistic, because what I saw was the channel from which the videos that I had shared links to had posted a message that actually referenced a channel that this person was recommending. Now, I'd never seen this channel before, and at that particular juncture, I didn't look at it. I was more interested in making sure the pup wasn't doing anything he wasn't supposed to be doing. But later on, I was curious enough that I wanted to see what channel they recommended, because they had done so in the past, and I had found value in some of those offerings. So I went to the community tab on this particular YouTube channel's feed and clicked on the link that was offered there. What I found blew my mind. It was a channel from a close friend of the person I'd sent those links to. And of course, I have to accept that the possibility exists that this person who was a friend of my acquaintance had in fact had communications prior with the woman who owned this channel. I have to also accept the fact that more than likely there was no connection until I sent that link. And the link was just as impactful as I thought that it was going to be on the person that I sent the email to. So much so that they had contacted this friend of theirs that they regularly do other videos and work with in other capacities for, and let them know of this channel themselves. The reason I feel that way is because when I recognized the icon image for that YouTube channel, I realized who this person was. And I'd only seen them a couple of times several years ago, because they had stepped into my place on a program called The Collective Imagination, which I stopped doing with this same friend in the summer of 2016. I think it was 2 years later that this friend of mine did a few episodes of The Collective Imagination in supplement of the original series with this individual. And that's the only reason that I knew who they were. So when I saw their image, I can't tell you how that made me feel. I recognized the importance of something as simple as reaching out to someone and sharing a bit of information. The butterfly effect. Because now this person contacted the woman who ran the channel that I actually admire greatly, because the information she offers in her videos have offered significance to me in my spiritual journey, almost as if many of them contain messages that support or confirm things going on in my life at that time, as a type of divine intervention to help me along my journey. With that in mind now, knowing that she is now connected with this other former acquaintance of mine, I can only imagine the mutual back and forth influence that's going to go on between them, and how that too will ripple out into both of their audiences. In this case, the woman who runs this channel, whose links I shared, has nearly 100,000 subscribers. And the former friend of mine that I haven't been in touch with for about 5 years also has several 100,000 people who follow her in some capacity. So that's a huge audience. And now those two are connected. And they are connected simply because I sent an email out of the blue, because I felt compelled to, in the same sort of way that I do with so many things that I follow, so many nudges, so many feelings that what you would call source, the divine, God, whatever label you want to put on spirit, guides, angels, or just consciousness or intelligence beyond this reality experience, share with me, and I just respond. That was powerful. The butterfly effect. This second story that I'll share with you here is similar in nature in that I followed a nudge, and in that following, I ended up someplace miraculous. Here's what happened. I woke up on the final day of the DiaryCast period, and I just had an old friend's name in my mind. In my lifetime, I can say that I've only had two best friends. One was in late high school into the first couple of years of college, but then when I graduated and moved away from my hometown, we lost touch. The second was a Brazilian woman who I came in contact with because her husband and mine knew each other from their home in Alexandria, Egypt. The relationship with this friend was both professional as well as just friendly because I ultimately met her as she was in search of a job, and my husband begged me to get her a job because at the time I was running New York City's largest and most well-known temporary paralegal placement agency. So I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? Because she's not a paralegal. She doesn't even know how to type. Her English is a little bit broken. How am I going to do this? But he begged me and he begged me. And begrudgingly at first, I met with her and helped her get her first job, which became a journey for both of us. I'll leave it there because that story is too long and is not directly related to what I'm about to share. Our friendship lasted for about a decade, from the time I lived in Astoria, Queens, until I moved on to Long Island. She eventually moved to New Jersey, and we completely lost touch for quite some time. However, here I wake up, and her name is in my mind more than 20 years later. I'm thinking, what's that all about? So what I do is I go into a meditation, and I seek answers. And to be honest with you, I basically got nothing. So I pulled some cards, and they influenced me in a way to help me understand that I may need to record some kind of a message to her, and it gave me a path to follow. So I tried, and I tried 3 times that morning, and we're talking the wee hours of 4:35 o'clock. When I tried for the 3rd time and erased it along with the other 2 that had come before, that one of which was over 40 minutes in length, I just didn't feel like I wanted to even try again. I thought, you know what, I'm not getting this right. And I lost the feeling to even want to do it. So what was that nudge all about? Why did I wake up with her name in my mind? What I did was I shook it off and just started my day. No more than 5 minutes passed, if that, and I got that exuberant feeling to do it again. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to spend another 40 minutes doing it, but I feel the feeling. So what is it I'm supposed to be doing here? And I went to open a blank Google search page, and I said to the universe, lead me. Where am I supposed to go? As I'm saying these words in my mind, I've already clicked on Facebook from my Google homepage presets before I even realized I had done it. From there, I thought, okay, well, let me just look her up. And I did. And when I got to her page, because we're not Facebook friends, and she doesn't seem to publish much publicly, as I don't either, I respected that and just looked to see what was there. And I saw a lot of nothing that really got my attention. Then I saw this video. The date of it was April the 22nd of 2016. And it was probably just, 4 or 5 entries down on her page. What interested me was the placeholder image of that video caught my attention, and I looked at this guy, even though I didn't know who he was, but I felt that I did. So I watched the video, and it wasn't at all otherworldly or spiritual or of consciousness or information I'd been researching or anything other than what it was, which was a reference to the limitations in our educational system here in the United States. But yet I still felt drawn to this guy, and I couldn't tell you why, but that's how this kind of works for me. So what I did was, since she had shared this post from another location, I clicked on the original link to that page, and when I landed there, at the top of that feed, dated April 24th of 2020, 4 years later, and no other posts above that, was the exact same video. So the last video this page posted was the same video that was getting my attention on this friend's feed, but it had been posted 4 years later. And I'm like, wow, what is this? This is really curious. Unfortunately, that page had nothing to do with the image of this man that was getting my adrenaline running, and it had no description filled in to identify who this was, nor did the video itself reveal it in any way. So I'm in a quandary. Who is this? Why am I drawn to this person? What happened next was pretty amazing. I took a screen capture of this man's face and body from that placeholder image and did a search on it. For those who aren't aware, you can actually go to images.google.com and bring in an image link from the internet or an image file from your computer or your device and do a search on it and find other similar images. And my hope was that it would recognize this man, even though the image itself was quite blurry, and help me to identify who it was. The first response was nothing. I think the answer was gentleman. It just identified him as a gentleman. But he was Asian, and I felt in my gut that he was a physicist. And again, I can't tell you why. So I did a search next to his image for the phrase Asian physicist. And sure enough, that got me his name. His name is Michio Kaku, Michio Kaku. When I found him, I saw a plethora of images and videos and websites. So what I did was I went to his actual website. And on his homepage, I read a little bit about him. I really felt he was the reason why I got my friend's name in the first place, because he is a physicist who is researching and immersed in the same kind of quantum physics and string theory concepts at a molecular level, recognizing the interconnectivity of waveform as the foundational means of our existence in the same way that I am. What caught my attention was on the right sidebar was a listing for a new book that he had put out called The God Equation. So of course I went to look it up. When I went to Amazon, I looked for a description and it was really pretty sparse. And I'm not one who really enjoys reading books, but I do like audios. So I went to Audible, and lucky enough, it had a 4-minute sample of what the book contained. So I listened to it. It took me to a place spiritually, energetically, where again, it was confirmation of everything that has happened to me in the last week. Because, as I said, these secrets that have been revealed to me, secrets in life, secrets of people that I know, secrets of family members, all things that came to me that I didn't ask for, but just presented in various ways that were confirmed again and again to show me and offer me the awareness that it wasn't just frivolity or my imagination, but was revealing actuality, that I was completely drawn to this guy. When I listened to it, I heard the name of a friend therein. And I will keep that to myself because it's masked in a way that nobody is ever going to get it except me. That again is another example of how this consciousness, intelligence that is outside of the realm of form as we know it in reality communicates to me. Many people call me crazy, but that's okay with me, because if I'm a crazy one, then I'm in damn good company.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
And for this week, I will leave it there.